What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sky Bees. Alright, so as you can see behind me, we have done some stuff. And first things first, in the last episode, we finished out the Refined Storage questline. Or no, I'm sorry, we finished out Mechanism and we finished out RF Tools. This was just a bunch of crafting. Finishing out Mechanism, again, was doing a bunch of crafting and things like that. Off camera, we finished out the Applied Energistics questline. As you can see behind me, we have some weird looking disk drives. The green ones up there are fluid. The blue ones here are items. And then we have some cables and stuff here from Applied Energistics. We just did this to make our lives a lot easier when doing the quests. So looking back in our quest book, the only thing that we have left is to make the Everlasting Guilty Pool and the Creative Energy Cube. And technically, we are done with this mod pack. But as I said last time, we want to make the Meka Suit armor. Now, the Meka Suit armor requires plutonium, which requires us to utilize some fissile fuel. So if we look at the uses of this, we can use this to make nuclear waste. Nuclear waste can be made into plutonium, and then of course that can be made into is it plutonium pellets? Let me look at the Meka Suit armor again. No, we need the polonium pellets. So we need polonium and water with fluorite dust, and polonium is made in the solar neutron activator. That's what we need. So to get to all of this, we need fissile fuel. That is the main quest here. I was trying to work this backwards, but when we got to the sulfuric acid, for whatever reason, it won't let me bookmark the chemical infuser. So I don't know why. Chemical infuser. Why it won't let me do it? It just will not let me bookmark any more than what I have here. Maybe it has to do something, but I was working my way backwards so we could work our way forward. Yes. Now, a couple of plans before we get started with working towards the fissile fuel is I think I'm going to repurpose this area here, which this is all of our quantum compressors that, of course, we are no longer using. We have a bunch of these guys here, the detectors, and then we have a bunch of exporters or importers that import stuff from the refined storage system to us, and I don't think we're going to use this anymore. The other thing that we probably want to grab is our energy cable, but for now I'm going to leave it here. Energy is going to be the next thing that is going to be a problem. We're producing 13,000 RF per tick, and at the moment we're using 1,000 RF per tick, right? We have a buffer of something like 128 million, and that's good. But we are going to be using a bunch of Mechanism machines, which tend to use a fair amount of power. If we look up here at our Enrichment Chamber, this thing uses, well, I guess it doesn't say what it uses at the moment, but it has stored 360,000 RF. Let's go ahead and take out some coal. This should be able to show us exactly what this thing uses. Right here, it is using 1.80, so it's using 1800 RF per tick, which is pretty nuts. That's a lot of RF. You get about 10 of these machines going, and we are no longer going to have power. So we don't want power to be our issue with starting this whole process. So my plan to alleviate our power situation is to grab the creative energy cube, because we... Is this not the recipe? It is. Hello? The recipe looks correct to me. We have advanced in the middle, we have basic, we have elite going around the outside. Elite. Ultimate. So the problem is we can't store these in stacks. They come out one at a time. So that I had to put all of this into the crafting table um, by chance. If left click, if left click. What is going on here? Oh, we don't want to do that. Let's sort our inventory. Let's sort the container. Huh. Interesting. We have everything here, unless these need, I don't think they need a stored capacity of 25 million RF. That would be just ridiculous. Now, being in our hand like this, we can actually store the RF in it. But yeah, we can't, if we were to take out, oh, let's use number 3. If we take these out, as you can see, they don't stack, so it's crazy. We can shift click them in, though, which is nice. Really, I don't think that these need the stored energy. Well, I think what the problem is our creative storage shell, the one that is empty, that has 0 RF in it. We need to have all of these without RF in them, otherwise we'll make this guy right here. And I think what we do need is we do need a full 25 million RF per tick, and we need 102 and 6 and 1.6 million. So I've got these things charging in my inventory. We are dumping a lot of power. Right here, we are using our buffer of 128 million, and we're going to go ahead and get these guys full of energy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them in this drawer here with a creative inventory upgrade, and we'll get rid of this drawer here, and then we can just pull them out with full energy. Because if I were to pull out the basic or the advanced cube right now, they have a little bit of energy in them, and I think that might be messing up this recipe for this guy here. I'm not sure. We're just going to go ahead and let these things fill up and see what happens. Alright, that was a painstakingly long process to let this stuff all fill up with energy, but hopefully this fixes our problem. And it does. Look at that. So we have the creative energy cube. That is a quest complete, and we are one step closer to completing this quest. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is we can get rid of all of this stuff. We do need to grab our crafting table, wireless crafting grid, because I did snag it up to give myself a better deal. Energy cube, let's get this guy back out, and then we need a little bit of dirt, right? To go ahead and fill this in, and then we will place our energy cube here, and now our network should just have infinite power. That should not be a problem no more. And of course this thing is full backup, which is really good. And now let us start getting into the mechanism chain that is a pain. Now, if you guys watched Sky Factory 4, we did automate the making of s'mores. And I played that a long time ago, and it was a lot of craft this, to craft this, to move this, to do this, and so on and so forth. And this is going to be no different. To get fissile fuel, we need to make an isotope centrifuge that has uranium hexafluoride in it. Uranium hexafluoride is made in a chemical infuser with uranium oxide and hydrofluoric acid. Now, uranium oxide is easy to do. We simply need to have a chemical oxidizer with yellow cake uranium. Yellow cake uranium is made in an enrichment chamber with uranium. That is something that we can do very, very easy. So, for this, we will go ahead and make a new enrichment chamber, because why not? We will grab speed upgrades. Let's just grab a few of those, and then we will grab some energy upgrades, which we will also grab a few of those. We'll grab one more stack. Okay. So the enrichment chamber does not need to be like heavily running, right? We just need to make the yellow cake for a little bit, no big deal. And I think what I'm going to do, this is Mekanism, so we're just going to place down machines in a weird way. We will grab the speed and energy upgrades. We will place 8 of these in here, like so. And then we are going to take our importers, or yeah, importers that we have in here, and we will go ahead and set this guy up. Now we do need some cable. We need this cable. We are also going to need uranium, and we have plenty. So to set this guy up, we're just going to go ahead and connect it up like that. I guess what we could actually do to make this look a little bit nicer is to go ahead and place the importer right here. Boom. So we are going to have this thing import uranium, and we need to make sure that we set the back to input and auto eject on. This is energy. We need, no, this is items. Let's just set everything to an input. Mechanism. Yes. Maybe we can't do that. If that's the case, what we'll do is we'll just leave that guy there. Security, it's public. We have all of the sides set. Have the item configuration to input on the top. I guess if we turn everything else off, no. Really? Oh. Interesting. We'll go ahead and set the left. I fell through that hole. I cannot believe it. Does this not accept this uranium? It does. And it makes yellow cake uranium. Okay. Am I truly just a goofball? And we actually need exporters. Let's set the back to an input. I saw it light up. Yeah. Okay. We need exporters. That's what we need. So we have the yellow cake uranium. That needs to go into a chemical oxidizer, right? Chemical oxidizer, which we don't have the personal chest. Easy enough. And a dynamic tank, which we can make. And boom. Now, Mekanism gets kind of crazy with how these machines are set up. And by that I mean, sometimes when you place it down like this, it won't always accept the items like it just did here, which is pretty cool. This is set to an output. This is set to an input, and we are making uranium oxide. That needs to go into a chemical infuser, right? So uranium oxide needs to go into a chemical infuser, and that is where we are going. That is one side of our uranium hexafluoride, is this stuff that we are making right here. So this is the setup here, and I think we'll try to pump this out of this side, which is fluids. One thing that we did off camera is we did set up all of the mechanism pipes here. We have universal cable, mechanical, pressurized tube, and logistical transporters, so we can use all of those. Now we need to go through the long old rabbit hole of hydrofluoric acid. So hydrofluoric acid is sulfuric acid and fluorite. Okay? Sulfuric acid is made from sulfur trioxide and water vapor. So sulfuric acid is what we're going to turn into the hydrofluoric acid. The hydrofluoric acid and the uranium oxide is what makes the uranium hexafluoride. I know this is going to get very, very confusing very, very fast. So, water vapor. We need a rotary condensator with water in decondensating mode to make water vapor. So, first things first, we need to make this chemical infuser, which is this guy right here. Really, I don't have 2 tanks, okay? So chemical infuser, this is where the uranium hexafluoride is going to be made. So we want this guy set up probably like this. Maybe. Let's just go ahead and set this rude boy up like this. I want to pump whatever's coming out of this thing into the isotope thing to make the fissile fuel. But I do believe that we have pipes available on every side. So, uranium hexafluoride, we're going to need to pump the uranium oxide into it. Okay, I'm mistaken. We're going to go ahead and set this guy right here. We're going to pump the stuff out of here. I need to... Items, blocks, fluids, pressurized tube. I think it's these. Or it might be the universal cables, which is... That's power. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Let us grab the... What do I have here? I have the ultimate mechanical. Let's take the ultimate pressurized tube. Aha, that is for gases. We have uranium oxide in one side. Perfect. Now we need to bring the other gas over here. Okay, so we put up a couple of signs. We have this chemical infuser is going to be sulfur trioxide, and this one is going to be sulfuric acid. Now I do have the rotary condensator, decondensating water vapor, and I believe zone sensitivity turned off. We want this to configure gases, and we want that to pull. But this thing is getting no power. That's what's the problem. Okay. Well, we can fix that. So break that block out. And I did make a stack of these flux points because we're just going to be popping stuff everywhere. We don't want this to look kind of... We're trying to make this look nice, but making Mekanism look nice is hard. So this is making water vapor, which is done. And now we need to make the other side of the sulfuric acid. So, to make the other side of sulfuric acid, we need sulfur trioxide, which is where this guy comes in, right? Am I seeing that correctly? This is a pain. So, sulfur trioxide, this actually needs to move over one. And we'll just do that. And we'll select this network. So the resultant sulfur trioxide... No, I had that set up correctly. The resultant of this is going to go over to this guy. So for the sulfur trioxide, which I didn't bookmark, there it is. We need sulfur dioxide and oxygen. So we need oxygen on this side, and we need sulfur dioxide on this side. The sulfur dioxide is made in a chemical oxidizer with sulfur. Very easy for us to do. We just need to make the chemical oxidizer. which we should be able to make rather easily. We need another personal chest. I guess we can make one more. And then the chemical oxidizer, boom. This thing is going to sit right here. And, we're going to be pumping stuff into this. So we probably want something like that set up so that gases can come out. And this is the pipe that we need. Should connect up there. It does not. Let's see. It connects like that. So that is how this wants to go. I know these sides probably mean something, but hey. We're trying to make this work. And I know we're tearing up our island here, but yeah. So the other thing that we want to make sure to grab is more speed and energy upgrades every time we put one of these machines down. We're going to want to put these guys in so that they're fully sped up. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to, from this machine, pump over into this guy, sulfur. Which I don't believe that we have too much. Sulfur. I don't have any sulfur. So that is good. We can use this guy right here, which isn't being used for anything, and we can pump our sulfur dust here. And we'll take this sulfur dust, and we'll do like we've done everywhere else, and we will go ahead and add this to the many drawers stuff, so we don't have to worry about it. The other thing that we're going to want to do this with is fluorite. Is it F-L-O-R? Let's see. Hydrofluoric acid, fluorite. It is F-L-U. F-L-U-O-R-I-T-E. Fluorite. Aha. Then we will just put that in the system, and now we have all of the fluorite, and we have all of the stuff. So if I'm reading this correctly, when we make the uranium hexafluorite, the sulfuric acid is going to make the hydrofluoric acid. That's this guy here. We're going to want to... Oh, I missed a step. Because the hydrofluoric acid has to go into here. Ah. So the sulfuric acid needs to go into the chemical dissolution chamber. Which is this guy right here. Of course, we can only make those one at a time. So, it is what it is. Okay. So the chemical dissolution chamber needs to actually go in front of this guy. And of course, we're just breaking our island. And then... we need to use this guy. To break all of that. Okay, this is a mess. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you dive into Mekanism. It turns into a huge mess. Again, we need to make sure that we have our speed and our energy upgrades. Let's see. Okay. So this guy is going to need fluorite pumped into it, and this guy is going to need sulfur pumped in it. And this is a bad way of doing this, and unfortunately, we could clean this up, but, like, such a pain. Okay, yep, yeah, let me clean this up because these guys need to be a little bit closer to our network right here, network receiver, and I need to turn my fan off or the heater off that's running in the hotel room right now, and we'll get this guy caught up with what we've got going on here a little bit better. Well, now the joys of trying to explain this because it took some time to get this set up. I was having a problem with these pressurized tubes. We still have one that goes into this guy, which is receiving sulfuric acid. And this one here is still pumping away the yellow cake uranium. Now, because we don't have, we have unlimited uranium, I'm not worried about this. But there is something going on with this right here. If I were to actually break this guy right here, because as you can see, this thing is full up on uranium oxide. This thing should not just be wasting uranium oxide, right? What we might want to do, as a matter of fact, is go ahead and not break the the flux points. But we might want to put our flux point back here. And then we'll put this one here. And then we'll get this guy. I do believe that the chemical oxidizer... Yep, so we want to face this guy this way. And now it's pumping out the uranium dioxide as we need it. But we should go ahead and use a universal pipe. Ultimate, universal, I think this is 4 items. And we'll go ahead and set this guy up. And it looks like this thing is working. Now this thing should stop once it gets low on uranium oxide. As I said, this thing was just continuously pumping, just like this guy right here is going to continuously pump. But of course, it's getting low on the sulfuric trioxide, right? I guess. Or the sulfur dioxide. That's what it's low on. This thing is making its stuff as fast as it can. This has oxygen. This guy is making oxygen. Yeah, it's a mess, right? In the end, we are making fissile fuel, which we have in this ultimate chemical tank, because I had no other way really to store this. So to break this thing down, we have our little setup here of our enrichment chamber making yellow cake uranium. That is being sent over to the oxidizer, being turned into uranium oxide, and that is going into our chemical infuser. That is one side of the puzzle. The other side of this puzzle is we have sulfur being sent to a chemical oxidizer. That is turning it into sulfur dioxide. The sulfur dioxide is being pumped into this chemical infuser right here at a slow rate. We have an electrolytic separator that takes water and separates it into hydrogen and oxygen. We are dumping the excess hydrogen because if this filled up with hydrogen, it wouldn't do anything, it wouldn't make any more oxygen, and we need the oxygen. So we're pumping the oxygen over to this guy, and that is making the sulfur trioxide that you can barely see, this stuff right here. Sulfur trioxide is being pumped into this guy on this side, along with water vapor, and that is turning into sulfuric acid. Now the water vapor is being made in the rotary condensator in decondensating mode, so it's taking water and turning it into water vapor, which is why the sink is here, pumping water into here and into here. Once we get the sulfuric acid in this machine, it is being pumped around to this guy, the Disillusion Chamber, which is taking fluorite, which is being pumped in by our network, and is taking the sulfuric acid and turning that into hydrofluoric acid. Hydrofluoric acid is being pumped finally into this machine with uranium oxide, and that is being turned into uranium hexafluoride. The uranium hexafluoride is being pumped into the isotopic centrifuge, and that is turning it finally into fissile fuel. What a pain. And all of this was to get the process of making the Meka Suit. And, oh, we need Hdpe Sheets. Oh, dang it. So, polonium is made in the pressurized reaction chamber, otherwise known as a PRC, with polonium and water. Polonium is made from nuclear waste in a solar neutron activator, and nuclear waste is made in a fission reactor with fissile fuel, water, and that creates steam and nuclear waste. Um, the nuclear waste, I do believe that there is can't make these, huh? Nope. Nope. What is it? What is it called? A barrel? Yes, radioactive waste barrel. We're gonna need this. We're gonna need these guys on the side of a fission reactor. This is where the stuff for the nuclear waste is going to go, so it doesn't go everywhere. But this fissile fuel, we're gonna need to probably pump into a dimensional tank. I believe we have a dimensional tank, which we should be able to make. We need 2 cauldrons. We need 2 of these bad boys, the dimensional cores. We can then turn into solid dimensional cores. We can take the dimensional walls and make 2 of those. We should be able to make 2 dimensional tanks. And what I want to see is if we can actually pump. Oh, there's honey. Oh, it doesn't look like. Oh. It doesn't look like we can use this for gases. We may have to look into some sort of multi-tank. Tank has a capacity for 4 types of liquid. This block is meant for the processor. Cannot otherwise be used directly. Okay. Scuba tank, huh? Neat. I really don't want these are gas tanks. And we can't make a creative chemical tank, which is unfortunate. Tank for fluids with support for filtering. Quantum tank. Yeah, fissile fuel, I guess, is a gas. This isn't... Yeah, gas, fissile fuel. So we would need a dimensional gas tank, which we don't have. And we can see in the pack. Simple black hole tank can hold a bunch of stuff, but that is a dynamic. Oh, this casing used in a dynamic tank multi-blocks, a structure capable of storing great amount of fluids. Ah. So we may need to look further into Mekanism, I think. That's for certain. We definitely need to get into figuring out this fission reactor because we're going to need that as well. Fission reactor, there are fission assemblies. There is the reactor logic adapter, reactor port, there's reactor casing. And then reprocessed fissile fuel. Okay. Yeah. What I was looking for is a way to transport this somewhere else. Because the fission reactor, we're not going to want to build in our base. Though I guess we could. Hmm. Because we're starting to mess with nuclear stuff, and nuclear stuff could easily destroy our base. So yeah. We do have this little setup here, though. This is the setup for this. Now, the next thing that we're going to get into, and not in today's episode, is we need to make Hdpe sheets, right? The Hdpe is made from the Hdpe pellets, which is made in a PRC with oxygen and liquid ethylene, and substrate. Substrate is made in another PRC with hydrogen and water, so we could utilize the hydrogen that we're just dumping over here, and we need some sort of biofuel, which is simply made in a crusher of any organic material. As a matter of fact, nether wart block would probably be our best bet, because it makes 7. So does baked potato, but we don't want to go that route. Anyway, we need to make liquid ethylene, which is made in a condensator from ethylene gas, turns it into liquid ethylene. That is again made as a byproduct of us converting biofuel into substrate. So this is a quick little setup. It's not quick, but it is a smaller setup that we do need to set up so we can get this guy rolling and make it really worth our while to get the Meka Suit armor, and then we can get out of this netherite armor, and I think it will look absolutely amazing. The other thing that we're going to want to make is probably this hazmat suit, just because if we do have a little bit of a meltdown, well, then we can be a little more prepared. So, yes, that is for next episode, though. We are ending things here. This might have ran on a little long. I don't know. This was a crazy setup to try to get. It is very compact what we ended up coming with the end result here. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button down below. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified when videos like this are released. Check the description for all of the different ways to follow me, including Twitter, Twitch, a link to the Discord, a link to Patreon. It's all in the description. Read it. There's always useful information in those, right? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.